I've been money craving, started shoebox saving, made some puzzle placements. I know what this life gon' come with, know that they gon' go and hate it.
Merry Christmas, everybody. It is Christmas Eve here, and Nationwide Sports Talk is back with another episode. I'm Matt Mackey, live from Washington. Wild and wonderful, y'all. Episode 99 is underway. Before we begin, we got to introduce the co-host, the man live from Morgantown. Caleb, say what's up.
What's going on, guys? Merry Christmas, everybody. Hope you guys have a fun, safe weekend, safe travels for everybody, and let's enjoy some football this week in basketball, and let's get into this episode.
Exactly. Bowl games have begun. The Final Four has been picked for the college football playoffs. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But before we get to that, we got to start with the big dogs in the big league, the NFL. So the NFL, basically, pretty much anyone's talking about right now is how the Steelers started out 11-0, but now have lost 3 straight games. I don't know what's going on. You know, they were dominant, but then again, it goes back to the schedule. They're playing the easiest teams. They have the easiest schedule, easiest ride to 11-0 in NFL history. But then when it came time to play the big dogs, the Bills demolished them. I don't even know what happened in that Bengals game, to be honest with you. So, Caleb, give me your thoughts on the Steelers team losing 3 straight.
I mean, I would say that they were hiccups, but like you said, how did they lose this Bengals game? I mean, it's very questionable. The Bills is understandable. That Washington game was kind of understandable because, like you said, there was that hiccup that we kind of figured that they would have, and it's a game that I kind of figured myself that they'd rather have than losing to the Bills, but then they turn around and lost to the Bills. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I've seen a lot of people say that there's not a true leader in that locker room. Big Ben also doesn't look as explosive. Like, his arm looks like it's fallen off a little bit towards the end of the year. So that's a big fall off. A lot of people want to blame it on Juju and him dancing, but I mean, Jerry Jeudy made a good point today when he tweeted about it. You know, he's done it all year, and ever since they've lost 3 games, now everyone wants to point it out and say that's the reason. I wouldn't say it's the reason, no, but it's definitely doesn't help you when you're on a losing streak. I'll say that.
It doesn't. I mean, I get, like, you know, Juju's a big TikTok star. We can go off that. He's big on social media. So he was honestly, I feel like, just doing that TikTok dance. Like, he had no intentions of it being disrespectful at all. That's honestly how I felt about it. But like you said, when they're losing, they got to start pointing the finger. And that's what happened. They pointed the finger towards him, and I guess he took the blame, or he's not liking it. But it's just the fact that a 3-game losing streak, I can understand the Washington game was a hiccup game. I can definitely understand the Bills game because they have been on a whole nother level these past 3 weeks to get ready for playoffs. But this Bengals game is what gets me. The starting quarterback out, so
this is a game where you really were supposed to turn it around.
Yeah, and then you can look at it too, like the Dallas Cowboys beat this Bengals team. But you know, I thought it was pretty funny. I saw on the Saturday Night Football NBC Instagram page, or Sunday Night Football Instagram page, that they posted a picture of every team. It's like a victory of full circle. So every team like has won against every opponent. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, like, with the Jets getting their first win last week, completed the circle. Like, the Jets beat the Rams beat somebody, and just kept going and going in a circle because it all made sense. Like, at least, you know, no team has, I mean, obviously not won a game, but it's the fact that since Jacksonville has not won a game since week 1 against the Colts,
yeah,
kind of makes a circle whole. And this is like the first time in a long time that's been like that.
Yeah, because, I mean, we had one winless team last year at least.
No, the Bengals did too.
That's right.
But we'll go into the NFL picks of the week. So last week, Caleb, you went 10-5. I went 11-4. I told you don't pick the Washington against the Seattle Seahawks. And then you picked the Saints against the Chiefs. And we both picked the Vikings over the Bears. And yeah, so the season total. And yeah, I know you want to hear this one, Caleb. I know you want to hear this one. You are at 129-71-1. I am at 137, 63-1. This is looking like, a 2-year in a row win streak from Mr. Matt Mackey. Thoughts?
I don't know. I mean, we got two more weeks, this week and next week, and then we'll see. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
Right, it's going to start the first game tomorrow night, Christmas Day. Now I think about it, when's the last time, a football game happened on Christmas? That was a Sunday or Monday. It's been a while. All right. Anyways, we got the Vikings taking on the Saints. Saints coming off a tough loss to the Chiefs.
I like the Saints still. I think this team's a lot better. I think with Drew Brees back, and then you take in their defense, I think their defense is going to be able to stop this pretty high-powered Vikings offense. I think it's close, though.
I like the Saints as well. Drew Brees is back. They look really good against the Chiefs, but then again, it was the Chiefs, so we understood. It wasn't a big loss. It wasn't a tough loss. It was the fact, it was a loss that people kind of expected because Drew Brees hasn't played in 5 weeks, and they threw him out there against the top team in the league pretty much. I like the Saints as well in this game. Now on a Saturday, 1 o'clock game, Buccaneers and Lions. Who you like?
I'm going with the Bucs. Like I said last week, you can't go against Tom Brady, especially with a playoff push. Cancer's in the locker room or not. He's going to somehow get it done, and this Lions team is very shaky.
This Lions team is very shaky since the fire of Matt Patricia. So, honestly, this Buccaneers team should win this game without a doubt easily. They were down against the Falcons, came back and won, but Tom Brady has been down against Matt Ryan before and came back and won. And this Falcons team is known for blowing leads, and they did it again last week, and they got the Buccaneers to win. I think the Buccaneers can win this game as well. Now, on the 4:30 Saturday, we got the 49ers taking on the Cardinals, a nice NFC West game. It would have been a nice NFC West game. Let me take that back. It would have been a nice NFC West game if the 49ers were healthy. But we know how that goes. Cardinals come up a big one against the Eagles. Who you like?
I'm going with the Cardinals. They've had a pretty bumpy road after a pretty hot start. But like you just said, with this 49ers team being so beat up, it's kind of hard to pick them. If they weren't so beat up, though, I think this would be, like you said, a really good game, and it would be even harder to pick against them, against how this Cardinals team has performed this year. Like, they've been so up and down.
Couldn't agree more. I like this Cardinals team a lot. Kyler Murray, D-Hop looked phenomenal against the Eagles last week. I think it's going to carry over this week against a weaker defense for the 49ers, especially the 49ers coming up with a loss to the Cowboys. So, the last game on Saturday with the Dolphins taking on the Raiders. A nice AFC battle going on here. Pretty much Dolphins win in the playoffs kind of scenario, and if the Raiders lose, they might be out.
Yeah. Have they announced who's starting this game?
Tua.
No, for the Raiders.
They have not. Not that I know of.
You said what?
Not that I know of.
I'm going to still go with the Raiders. I think this – I'm going with the Dolphins. I think that defense is going to be able to stop this Raiders offense. And with Tua at quarterback, I think it's going to help them a lot. Like I've always said with him at quarterback, I think they've really bought in around that. And I think they get it done.
I agree. Like the Dolphins will in this game. I think the Dolphins are playing good football right now. Right. It's kind of weird to say that the Dolphins are a playoff wild card contender, honestly, because really they only made like a couple moves in the offseason to make this team they have right now, and it's mainly on that defense. That defense has been solid this year, top 3 in the league, and I think they're going to get an easy win against the Raiders. Even though it's in Vegas, I think it's going to be a good win for the Dolphins in Vegas. Money that way. Next game up, we got the Chiefs and Falcons. Falcons blew a lead last week against Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, but in this week he's playing a great opponent named Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs. Who you like?
Chiefs all the way. I don't even have to explain myself.
All right, let's on the same page. I have the Chiefs as well. Not much to talk about, not much to say. Next game up, we got the Browns and Jets. Jets got the first win last week. Can they carry it over for 2 in a row?
Nah, this Browns offense is too dominant for what this Jets defense can handle. I'll say that.
Yeah, this Browns team should beat the Jets. I mean, we said the same thing about the Rams last week against the Jets. This Browns team should beat them, and the Jets might have cost themselves Trevor Lawrence last week after that win. Yeah, they got the win, but they might have cost them the top quarterback in the draft. Next game up, we got the Colts and Steelers. Can the Steelers be on a 4-game losing streak after this week, Caleb?
I think so. The way that this Colts team has been playing with Phillip Rivers, like we said last week, he wants to be in the playoffs. This is the team. He has a perfect team around him to be in the playoffs. With the pit fire or locker room fire, whatever you want to call the Steelers organization right now, this is the perfect time for the Colts to make that push.
I definitely agree. I mean, I think the Colts have their division locked up down. No, they don't. The Titans do.
That's right.
But they split it. They split that series. So, I mean, it's kind of tough to say, honestly. But this Colts team is definitely pretty good. And the Steelers team have been shaky these past 3 weeks. And I'm looking for a 4th week in a row they're going to be shaky. And nice loss to the Colts they will have. Next game up, we got the Bears taking on Jacksonville. Jacksonville's not got a win since week 1 against the Colts. Who you like?
I'm going with the Bears all the way. This defense, the way that they can play, I think they'll be able to shut down whatever the Jags want to accomplish, and that's going to be the summary of the game right there.
You know, I was going to say Jacksonville. I really was, only because the Bears have been inconsistent, and they're very bad against bad teams. But I'm going with the Bears. I think they're finally got it all together. The defense is finally sticking strong. Offense is kind of clicking a little bit, especially after that win against the Vikings last week, because it was pretty much you got to keep up with the Vikings offense, and they did and won the game. I like the Bears in this one. And then we got the Ravens and Giants. It's in Baltimore. Giants have struggled again. You know, they were strong for a little bit, and they're falling back down. Can the Ravens hold on to make a playoff push?
I think so. I think this Giants team, yeah, they've been really good, but their defense it's good, but it's shaky, and Lamar's going to be able to expose any weakness that they have. Also, the weapons that they have around Lamar, unstoppable, and they want to make that playoff push, like we say with Phillip Rivers and Tom Brady. They want to be in there too.
I couldn't agree more. I like the Ravens. This one pretty much easily should win this one because Lamar does not want to have a disappointment season. He wants to be in the playoffs. He wants to show that he's not a one-hit wonder kind of thing. And for them to get this win, it means closer to the playoff push for Lamar and the Ravens to get out. Next game up, we got the Bengals and Texans. Texans coming off a tough loss. Bengals coming off a big win. Who you like?
Surprisingly, I'm going with the Bengals. I think that win is going to help them build off of that. They'll be able to build off that win. And a lot's going on down in that Texans organization. So I think the Bengals are going to be able to sneak by with a win.
I don't like the Texans mainly because of Deshaun Watson. I mean, I say it every week. Every week they lose when I say it. But hopefully this week's different. Deshaun Watson is a great quarterback. This Bengals defense is very shaky. And, yes, they beat the Steelers, but the Steelers are not a running team. The Texans are. They got Duke Johnson back there. They got Deshaun Watson back there. I mean, they also got, David Johnson back there. They got all three of them. It's like a three-headed monster back there running the ball. Yes, they can't throw the ball because they have no key receiver besides Will Fuller. But other than that, they have nobody else. And this Bengals team is not good against the run. Look what happened when they played the Browns, a running-based team with a three-headed monster with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt and Baker Mayfield. I like the Texans in this one. Now we're on to the 4 o'clock games on Sunday. First one up, we got the Broncos and Chargers. Nice. Another AFC West battle. Who you like?
I like Justin Herbert and the Chargers in this one. I think they're going to be able to get it done. I don't think this Broncos defense is going to be able to answer to what Justin Herbert can do. And are they back now, their quarterback group?
Yes.
Finally back?
They've been back.
That's right. He was back last week. Yeah. I'm not even really sold on Drew Lock either. So.
Listen here, buddy. Let's start this. I like the Chargers in this one. Justin Herbert's been playing a great year, Rookie of the Year. My eyes, he's phenomenal. But on the Drew Lock sold part, I drafted him in fantasy as my backup quarterback. And after week 2, I said, get the hell off my team. I was like, why'd I draft you? Why'd I waste a pick? But I agree. I'm not sold on him either. I don't like – he's injury prone. I feel like, yes, he played great college ball at Missouri, but it's the fact that he's in college anymore. This is NFL, big dogs. And honestly, Brett Ripien should be the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos. I'm not saying that because he's a Boise boy. I'm just saying it because he's better than Drew Lock. It's shown, Brett came in and won a game for the Broncos, and then Drew Lock came back next week and they lost. So it just shows right there. That's proof in the pudding right there. My eyes. Next game up, we got the Carolina Panthers taking on their former coach Ron Rivera on the Washington football team. Who you like?
I'm going with the football team in this one. They let me down last week, but this is a nice bounce-back game, especially for Ron Rivera. And I don't know, man. I'm hoping Alex Smith can come back because while Dwayne Haskins looked really good that towards the end of the game last week, I feel like Alex Smith really makes that offense click.
Yes,
but I still like the football team.
Yeah, Alex Smith brings a different tempo to the team and different format, different style, to be honest with you.
I think it's that veteranship. Like, it's a really young team on offense, but that veteranship that he brings is
100% agree. I like to watch football team this one, too. I think the Carolina, they are eliminated from the playoffs, so there's no really point in them keep trying. And Washington is the front runner for the NFC East right now. So I like Washington. Then we got the Eagles and Cowboys. Jalen Hurts fell short to his, you could say, former teammate, but former college alumni you can go with, I guess. Kyler Murray. And the Cowboys are on a 2-game winning streak against the Bengals and the 49ers. Who you like this week, Caleb?
I kind of want to go with the Cowboys. I think you guys are starting to figure it out a little bit. Zeke, not so much. I see that Pollard has been your guys' leading back past 2 games. I mean, Zeke had a nice game against the Bengals, but I don't know. I don't think that Jalen Hurts would be able to outduel Andy Dalton if it came down to it in the end. I think Andy Dalton's veteranship will just shine against a pretty shaky team in the Eagles, but we can say that about any team in the East.
I like the Cowboys as well. I mean, like you said, they're finally clicking. Tony Pollard is playing great ball, running the ball, and honestly, with that being said, he showed himself last week against the 49ers. I think it's time to trade Zeke. In my eyes, I mean, before I was like all for it. We got Zeke. He played great. It's time to trade him. He's getting paid too much for what he's not doing at all, and he's time to go. The only thing I'm worried about here in this game is this Cowboys defense against Jalen Hurts' running ability. Only thing I'm worried about. If the Cowboys can contain him and shut him down, he can't throw a deep ball. He cannot do that at all, so we're good there. It's just the fact that you got to contain him. If he starts rolling out, we're in trouble. I'll say that right now. We are in trouble if he rolls out. But we contain him, we're good to go. I like the Cowboys, though. So let's roll through these last 3 games. We got the Rams and Seahawks. Who you like?
Going with the Seahawks. Can't go against Russell Wilson this year.
I like Seattle as well, too. Rams coming with a tough loss to the Jets. Well, a very, very tough loss to the Jets. I think Seattle can keep pushing through and make a good playoff run eventually. Game of the week, Sunday Night Football, Titans and Packers. I think it's going to be a hard knocks kind of game, Caleb. Who you like?
I think so, too. I'm going with the Packers, though. I think Aaron Rodgers is probably going to get the ball, like, last minute and lead his team down the field. And, I mean, I say it every week with him. Can't go against him. I mean, I think it's his MVP year. We've talked about a lot of people, like you said last week, but I think this is Aaron Rodgers' MVP year.
Couldn't agree more. I like the Packers as well. I mean, only thing good for the Titans is their running ability. Ryan Tannehill is not doing so well passing the ball. He never has. He never has. People talk about his last season in the playoffs and he made a playoff run. He threw for 83 yards a game. It was all Derrick Henry and that ability. So I like the Packers. And like you said, if Aaron Rodgers gets that ball last, it's game over for the Titans. Last game up, Monday Night Football. Bills taking on the Patriots. The Bills have won the AFC East, the first new winner in that division in 13 years. 13 years, Caleb. And they're going against the defending AFC title champions, the Patriots. Who you like?
It's crazy that the Patriots ruled that for 13 years. But the Bills, I'm going with the Bills in this one. Josh Allen, that man, we're big fans of him on this show. And Patriots have been kind of in a dumpster fire as well. I mean, they have a lot of players out, so I give them that credit. And not having Tom Brady, it's a whole different playbook that you have to run. So, but I'm definitely going with the Bills in this one.
If you don't go with the Bills, you don't know football. Josh Allen's a whole nother level this year. He has helped me a lot in fantasy football. I met him personally before. Great fella, great guy. Lower college ball player from the Mountain West Conference. I'm a big fan of the Mountain West Conference, the Boise State. I watched him destroy Boise State's defense when he played college ball at Wyoming. But guess what? He is in the NFL, so I can now root for him and cheer for him because he's no longer playing my team, especially since in the AFC. Josh Allen and the Bills are going to make a good playoff run, and they're going to get this win on Monday Night Football against the Patriots. That concludes our NFL picks of the week. Come back next week, see the results, and we'll be back again with more to see who wins the regular season picks. Like I said, right now I'm up by 8 games against Caleb. More than likely, by the way this week's looking, we got one different game, so Caleb, you probably won't beat me. Got to touch it right there. Now on to college basketball. One of the greatest sports to watch and most fun to watch because anything can happen in a given night in college basketball. It has proven time over time. Only thing different this year, no fans. They're disappointed because it's college. Rowdy students are big key factors to a team winning at home, but they're not having this year, my bad. But it did not happen for Iowa to come to Gonzaga and get the win. That Gonzaga-Iowa game, Caleb, was a phenomenal high-scoring game. That final score, Gonzaga 99, Iowa 88. Looking over the box score, Luke Garza did all he could do. 30 points on 13 for 18, 10 rebounds. Then on the Gonzaga side, they had a guy named Jalen Suggs who had 27 points, man. Give me your thoughts on this game, Caleb.
Yeah, so I was at work during this game. Sadly, didn't get to watch it, but I remember being on my phone, checking the box score, and also texting you to get updates. And I remember you loved watching this game, and I know I would have loved watching it too.
190 over. I told you. Bet the over.
I really love Jalen Suggs. Like, I know I didn't get to watch this game, but just seeing what he did in the box score for this team. And it really shows, like, it's weird, but he shows up even more against better teams. Like, he showed up more against Kansas. He showed up more against WVU. Showed up more against Iowa than he does when they play those lower ball teams that they've played. Or that their other game. And it's amazing to see out of a freshman, especially a freshman that jumps into this big of a role, playing the point guard position at the biggest school in college basketball right now. Going to be the team to beat probably all year, especially with this win. This team, man, they're crazy good. Same thing with Iowa, though. I mean, they're really good, but just couldn't hang with Gonzaga. And it's going to be the same thing for any team, I think. It's just going to be – you're obviously a good team, but this Gonzaga team is just next level.
You can't hang with a team when a guy named Jalen Suggs is shooting 7 for 10 from the three-point line. Start with that. 4 out of the 5 stars in Gonzaga were double-digit points. Only 2 out of the 5 for Iowa were in double digits. One being Luke Garza with his 30, another one being Wieskamp with 20 points. Right there's 50 of the 88 points. Those 2 guys had it. That's a crazy stat right there because they had more than half. And then 2 guys off the bench had 10 and a 14. And then you look at Gonzaga, they played more guys off their bench. With their leading scorer off the bench was Nimhard, who had 13 points. So they had a total of 5 guys in double digit. One guy 1 point shy from a double digit factor. And the other starting 5 for Iowa struggled. Bohan was 1 for 8. Frederick was 2 for 7. 8 points for Frederick, 2 points for Bohanna. So looking at the game, Gonzaga's a more well-balanced team. More depth than anybody I've seen in a while. And this Gonzaga team can score at any given time, Caleb. Anytime. I was down by 14.5. They made a great push in that second half, scoring 51 points to Gonzaga's 48. So they just couldn't catch back up. That's all it was. But I was watching the game live, and I'm just thinking, like, Jesus, this is a great game. Well, 1, because I knew I was going to win my bet. So I made it better. And 2, just seeing great matchups going on. And to me, this season's weird. I think I've seen more top 5 matchups than any season before. And it's not in March Madness.
Yeah, but just imagine how many more top 5 matchups we could have seen. Like, I mean, Duke, I know they said they don't want to play anything out of conference now. And I assume now that a blue blood, which I hope it's not the case, but I would assume now that a blue blood's saying that other teams follow. Hope it's not the case because I love watching these games, especially when you get Iowa and Gonzaga to play each other, or Gonzaga and WVU to play each other. Not only, like I said with WVU, it makes them better for when they play teams like Kansas or Texas Tech or Texas when they get into Big 12 play, but also March Madness. But you also get to see teams that really don't play each other unless they're playing in March Madness.
Very true. It's good to see, and I kind of like it a lot, but I just hope that, like you said, we see more. I really hope we see more of this kind of matchup. So leading into your Big 12 talk, Kansas is showing their dominance, and they're definitely a top contender for the title this year. On Tuesday night, they played number 7, WVU, and won that game at home by 14 points. At half, they were down. So W was up 36-35 at the half. Everyone thought, okay, this W team, they're playing well, they're shining. They fell in the second half, only scoring 29 points to Kansas 44. Outscored by 15 in the second half, and it cost them the whole entire game. But then you look at the starting lineup for WVU, Derek Culver, 8 points, 4 for 9 from the field, 8 rebounds. McNeil was a leading scorer for the W team with 24 points. He was 8 for 12. But then Miles McBride, 8 for 16, 19 points. So it makes me wonder, why is he shooting the ball so much? But then you look at Emmett Matthews' box score. He was 3 for 11 with 6 points. Why is he shooting the ball too much?
I mean, well, sorry. We always talk about it. They can't hit their shots. And it's weird to see this WVU team led by McNeil with 24 points and not by Derek Culver. Like, okay, so we're totally going away from the big game. Like, did you watch this game? I didn't watch it at all. So was I. So I didn't really get to see it, but it kind of seems like if Derek Culver's only putting up 9 shots and then the Sheboy's only putting up 5, seems like we're kind of going away from the big game, which has worked for us all year.
Yeah.
Why?
It makes no sense.
Like, we just need good perimeter play around the bigs, not just perimeter play and no big play. It's very weird.
Look on the Kansas side, all starting 5 had double digits points, led by Christian Braun with 22 points. He shot 7 for 14 from the field, 6 from 12 from 3-point, Caleb. Man was shooting lights out, and it pretty much happened in the second half, and it won Kansas game. So give me your thoughts on this Kansas team before we continue.
I mean, I watched their game against Gonzaga, and they shot the ball really well against Gonzaga. From the box score, they shot the ball really well this game. They can shoot the ball well. I thought their big man play would kind of fall down because of, I'm going to butcher his name. It was a Bouquet or whatever his name was that won the draft. But it's nice to see that Well, not for a WV fan, but nice to see that they can just put another guy right back in there and he can score 17 points and
The Blue Bloods, buddy.
grab you 7 rebounds. Oh, yeah, I know that logo is going to do anything for you as a recruiting-wise, but I thought it would be a bigger fall-off than what it seems like to be. And knowing that they can shut down this forward duo of the Shibwe and Culver, it's kind of scary being a WVU fan. Kind of scary.
Definitely is scary. So let's hope that WU can bounce back and get another victory. Obviously another victory, but bounce back from this one and get a big victory here soon later on, and maybe beat Kansas at home. Because that, like I said, the fall gets tough to play in, and I can see why they lost, but it was a good game as well. So going from that, best games of the week coming up, we have 4 matchups going on that I've keyed in and eyeballed. But my number one game I think this week is happening tomorrow night. Number 9 Wisconsin going on road at East Lansing. Number 12 Michigan State. This game should be a good one, especially since Wisconsin destroyed Louisville and the top 25 team, beating them by 40 plus in that one. But I like Michigan State in this game.
Yeah, I do too. I think just Tom Izzo's team's more prepared. I think they're a better team overall as well. They have a lot of returning players too, other than Cassius Winston. I think that veteranship's going to be key for them. So I also like Michigan State, and it's home game for them.
Another game I have eyeballed and keyed in is on Saturday. Number 1 Gonzaga going on the road to UVA, who's number 16 in the country. I like this one because I want to see Gonzaga's offense against a tough defense like UVA. That's what I like it.
I like that too. When I saw this, I was like, this is going to be a really good game. I want to see if that pack line will be able to slow down this Gonzaga offense, because it takes away exactly what this Gonzaga team wants to do, and that's shoot the ball. Pack line doesn't allow you to do that. Don't allow you to get any easy cuts, which is also what this Gonzaga team likes to do a lot. So, yeah, this should be a really good game. I really think Gonzaga gets the win still. But, just looking at their resume, I think it's just better. And obviously, like I said, they're the team to beat this year.
All right. Well, that concludes our college basketball talk for the week. Come back next week, same exact thing, and recap and best game to look forward to for the following week. Coming up now is our college football. We're going to talk about the Final Four playoffs. And, Caleb, give me your thoughts on the Final Four who were decided. Number 1, Alabama. Number 2, Clemson. Number 3, Ohio State. And number 4, Notre Dame.
I like it. I definitely agree with it just because, like I said last week, I think with Notre Dame beating Clemson earlier in the year without Trevor Lawrence, I think if they lose to Trevor Lawrence, you still have to put him in there just because they won. They also had a nice win against North Carolina, which North Carolina beating Miami also really helped them solidify their playoff chances. So, yeah, I definitely agree with it. I think without Florida losing to LSU, either A&M or Florida would have been in there at the 4 spot. But that
Florida
loss
would have been in there, especially the way they played against Alabama. Florida definitely would have been in there.
But that loss is too much. It hurts both Florida and Texas A&M.
Here's how I think about this Final Four. When the Big Ten announced that they're playing this season, the Final Four that happened is what happened, is what was said back in September. But why are we playing the whole entire season? Yeah, we didn't know what was going to happen, but we were watching Alabama, Clemson, and Notre Dame play. Once Big Ten said they're playing, Ohio State jumped right in the mix for that 4th spot. To me, it's strange. Okay, we're not taking consideration if Trevor Lawrence is out. They had a close win against UNC after Clemson demolished UNC. Are we not looking at that? Are we not looking at A&M's performance against Alabama and then going on the rest of the way, beating the other top teams in the country that they played against? Are we not taking consideration Oklahoma, that bounce back they've had and the run that they made? We're not talking about Cincinnati being undefeated, Coastal Carolina being undefeated.
Not talking about Cincinnati at all.
Exactly. It's just the fact it blows my mind that that's what it's looking like. And like you and I talk about, I think it's time to have a 14-16 team playoff only because get rid of the bullshit bowl games. I got teams with 3 wins in the bowl games this year. Get rid of it all and make those smaller, like 16-1 a bowl game, 15-2 a bowl game, and then as they work their way up, they make it a college national championship game. It makes the most sense, and it makes them more worth playing for. Because if I'm trying to recruit for Coastal Carolina or trying to recruit for Cincinnati, BYU, any of those mid-level teams, they're not going to get the best players because, like you pretty much like you say, why am I going here and go to this school and contend for a national title game? Why am I going to go to a non-Power 5 school and not contend for a title?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, at least in that sense, you get the chance to compete for the championship and the title. And whether you make it or not, you know, if your team's in there every other year or every year, like especially if they do 16, you could have some smaller teams that could be in there every year.
Yeah.
Like especially the way that, not saying Coastal Carolina is going to be a top 16 team or would be in the playoffs next year, but I definitely think they'd be a top 25 team, especially the way that their program's been turned around and the amount of recruits that would go there because the way they see the program turning around and also the amount of attention that Coastal Carolina is getting now because of their program turning around. So, yeah, I definitely think that that's going to give you a lot more help as a program for recruits, a lot more money because you're being on TV, obviously, so that helps. And like you said, you get that sense of fairness because I feel like 4 is not fair, especially now.
No, it's definitely not. I mean, yes, I understand, you know, you're going to have 3 Power 5 conference champions, ACC, Big Ten, and SC. You're going to have all 3 every year. Every single year, that's how it's been.
Well, they wanted it to be, I mean, you look back at the very first playoff, it was you had the ACC, SEC, Big Ten, and Pac-12. Like, that's all they wanted it to be. And that's really all it seems like they still want it to be. But Pac-12 fell out so much that they're just throwing another team in there. They're like, okay, now we want the SEC championship. We want the ACC championship, Big Ten champion, and then whoever else, we'll just throw another team.
Yeah. SEC.
Yeah, or the SEC. We'll just throw them in there.
Yeah. So, I mean, a big expansion is what everyone wants, what is needed in my eyes for players and for coaches and programs. That's what it's all about. But we're not experts. We are just podcasters.
What do we know?
Exactly. What do we know? So now that means our Power 5-star performers of the week. Our 5-star performers every week. Caleb and I key in on 5 players who performed very well, and they weren't a 5-star when they got recruited, but they performed like a 5-star this past weekend. Caleb, go ahead and give me your number 5.
My number 5 guy is Desmond Ridder, Cincinnati quarterback. 19 for 26, 269 yards, 1 touchdown. Also had 16 carries, 83 yards, and a touchdown as they got a 27-24 victory over Tulsa.
My number 5 guy is Jahan Dotson, wide receiver at Penn State. 8 catches, 189 yards. But the main reason why he's on there is he had 31.5 yards per catch and 2 TDs versus Illinois in that 56-21 win.
My number 4 guy is Ty Jordan, Utah running back. 22 carries, 154 yards, and 3 touchdowns as they got a big win, 45-28 against Washington State.
My number 4 guy is Adrian Martinez, a quarterback out of Nebraska. He was 24 for 28 passing with 255 yards and 1 TD. But on the ground, he had 23 carries, 157 yards, and 2 TDs versus Rutgers in that 28-21 win.
My number 3 guy, been on the show before, Nick Starkel. San Jose State quarterback, 32 for 52, 453 yards, and 3 touchdowns, 32, as they got 34-20 victory over Boise State.
Hey, now watch it. That was a jab at me. I see how you are. My number 3 guy is Trey Sermon, the running back at Ohio State. 29 carries, 331 yards, 2 TDs versus Northwest in that Big Ten title game, 22-10 win.
Had himself a game. My number 2 guy is Kayshon Boutte, LSU wide receiver. 14 receptions, 308 yards, 3 touchdowns, as they got a 53-48 win over Ole Miss.
I'm going to hit you with the curveball with number 1. Get ready for that one. My number 2 guy is Simi Fuhaka, wide receiver out of Stanford. 16 receptions, 230 yards, and 3 TDs. And that comeback win against UCLA, 48-47. And I'm going to talk about this game real quick because I won money on this one as my big winner of the week because I had Stanford plus 6.5 with 5 minutes left of the game. They were down by 14. My chances were spiraling down and making me nervous and trembling in my pants. And then a guy named Simi Fuhaka scored a touchdown in the last 30 seconds of the game and went to overtime, and he got the big victory. And the key factor and broke a school record for most catches in a game. My rant's over. Thank you, Simi Fuhaka, for winning me $400.
My number one guy has to be Najee Harris, running back out of Alabama. 31 carries, 178 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Main reason why I put him on here is because he had 5 receptions, 67 yards, and 3 touchdowns as they got a 52-46 victory over Florida.
My number one guy is a Nationwide Sports Talk alumni, Kayshon Boutte, wide receiver at LSU. Recruited him back last season before he went to the program. Star player, star guy, and like Caleb said, 14 catches, 308 yards, 3 TDs versus Ole Miss in that 53-48 win. He needed this breakout game, and it just shows that Nationwide Sports Talk find stars before they are a star. And he's an example. Austin Jones is an example. John Metchie III is an example. Yeah. Whew. That was a good rant right there. Nationwide Sports Talk's proud of these former players on here interviewed, and I'm looking for more out there to interview to talk more of. So if you have a Instagram, Twitter, I will DM you personally and ask you to come on the show for an interview because if you can't tell, I find stars before they are a star in the making, and it's a point right there and a proof right there. Also forgot Connor Basic. I interviewed him too. So, and he won Freshman of the Year in the SEC. Just saying. Just saying and putting out there, Mr. Caleb Lane. Nationwide Sports Talk, find stars. No other podcaster does that. Boom. Point proven. It's in the database. I have it down, written down. It's factual evidence. I have it right there. Proof is in the pudding, like I said before. That's our 5 stars of the week. Every week we find the 5-star players who were shining that week, who are a 5-star, but weren't a 5-star in recruiting because Kayshon Boutte was a 4-star player. Bam. Whoop. Gotcha. Now, to end the show, we're talking the best games of the week, but it's bowl season. It is bowl time, so we're talking the bowl games up until next Wednesday. So, first bowl in the game is happening tonight. The New Mexico Bowl, Hawaii versus Houston. This Dana Holgorsen offense and team has had a season like no other. Did not play a single game in the entire September because of opponents' issues, as well as other games impacted as of COVID as well throughout the rest of the season. But this Holgorsen team is looking for the end on a victory to end the season the right way instead of how the wrong season happened. You think Houston wins this game?
I'm going with Hawaii. I think their offense has pretty much always been explosive, and it's the same way with this offense now. And if you know anything about Dana Holgorsen defenses, they're usually not the best. So I'm going with Hawaii in this one.
I like Houston. Honestly, I think this Houston's offense is going to kick off strong and start strong as well. And the second half is going to slow down, and Hawaii's trying to make a comeback. I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout win. I'm saying that Houston wins at least by a touchdown in my eyes. Next game up happens on Christmas Day, the Camellia Bowl, Marshall versus Buffalo, a Buffalo team that we like to watch, and I love watching the Jarrett Patterson running the game. I think it's a Marshall team has failed 2 games in a row, getting blown up by Rice, and then getting beat up by UAB. Who do you like?
Going with this Buffalo team. I like that run game, like you said. We were big fans of Jarrett Patterson, and I think he'll be able to run all over that Marshall team like he's been able to do to any team they've gone up against this year and previous years.
I like Buffalo as well in this game. I think it's a key factor here. Key little note for you, Caleb. I don't know if you knew this. Buffalo has one of the best Group of 5 offenses. Marshall has one of the best Group of 5 defenses. But if you look at their schedule, they play the worst schedules. Just saying. So I like Buffalo. Honestly, I think they're a better team. Especially, I mean, it's kind of hard to say Conference USA in bowl games and MAC in bowl games, but it's Conference USA. The whole entire conference has been downhill this year, and we all know how the MAC is. It's mediocre, kind of. It's always one power team throughout the season. I like Buffalo in this one. On December 26th, we got the FBC Mortgage Cure Bowl, Liberty versus Coastal Carolina, a game that should have happened earlier in the season. But I'm disappointed that Coastal Carolina got this bowl game and not a New Year's Eve game. Honestly, I'd love to see the Chicketeers on national television all over ABC playing in a bowl game, but they're playing noon on ESPN in Orlando. Who you liking this one?
I'm going with Coastal Carolina in this one. I just think that they're going to be the better team. With the year that they're having, they're looking to finish it off undefeated, and I think they'll do it. But yeah, I'm also, to your point, I'm also very disappointed they didn't get a New Year's Eve bowl too.
So with that being said, I like Coastal Carolina too. I like Grayson McCall back there throwing the ball for Coastal, and their defense is solid. They have a solid defense. It's known as the Black Sea. They're known as a Black Sea defense, and when they wear all black, that defense looks scary. Because when they played BYU, they were all black, and that defense was going insane against that BYU team. But Coastal is a better team, honestly. Malik Willis is a great quarterback for Liberty. Don't get me wrong. It's just the fact that Liberty has a 144th ranked schedule. That's the weakest one. They have teams like Central Arkansas above him in the week on the strong schedule side. But I like Coastal Carolina on this one. Next game over the Servpro First Responder Bowl. Louisiana Lafayette taking on UTSA in Dallas in the Ford Gerald J. Ford Stadium. Lafayette did not get to play in the Sun Belt Conference game against Coastal Carolina. That game got canceled, which I think would have been a good game. It would have been a solid game. But in this game, I like Lafayette by a lot.
Same. I like Lafayette. They played really well against Coastal Carolina earlier this year. But it was just one that Coastal Carolina was just that much better and was able to pull it out. But, yeah, I think they win this one pretty single-handedly, I would say.
Yeah, 100% agree with that one. Last game of the day on Saturday is the Lending Tree Bowl, Western Kentucky versus Georgia State. I like Georgia State in this one. I think Western Kentucky's been an up-and-down kind of team this year. I just think Georgia State has a better offense, especially, the quarterback for Georgia State. If he can avoid the turnovers, it's a solid victory for them.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say if Cornelius Brown cannot turn the ball over, then this Georgia State team can probably win this game pretty single-handedly. That offense is pretty deadly down there, so I like this Georgia State team.
On December 29th, we have the Cheez-It Bowl, number 21 Oklahoma State taking on number 18 Miami. Oklahoma State, who no one can really get a touch on this season as a good team, bad team, or average team. They've been up and down throughout the season. Miami, the same exact way, up and down. But I like Oklahoma State. I think they're playing well ball. These past 2 weeks, they played great. And it's led by the run game, honestly, in the whole Oklahoma State's offense. Because it was based around Chuba Hubbard, but he was stepped out. So it went up to the other running backs in the play. And I don't think Derek King is not, great. I mean, I love Derek King as a player, but the opt-outs on the defensive line for Miami is going to hit them hard in this game.
I agree. I like Oklahoma State as well. Like you said, Hubbard was out, and their backup has really stepped up and taken that huge role that Hubbard filled within that offense. And I don't think that they're really going to miss him. This Miami defense got ran all over on by UNC, and I think that could probably carry over into this bowl game.
Last game of the day on the 29th with the Valero Alamo Bowl, number 20 Texas taking on Colorado. Texas, back in 2019, played in this bowl game and demolished Utah. So last year. So 2019, that last year. Yeah, it's 2020. What am I thinking? So last year. Last year, they dominated Utah in that one. Honestly, Colorado isn't as good as Utah, but the Buffaloes will be extremely motivated in this one because of the season they've had. But what I've realized at Texas, you cannot count them out in bowl games. Sam Ehlinger is a competitor. He's a fighter, and he will do anything to do because it's most likely his final game of his college career. And I don't think he's going to go out with a loss. Plus, Tom Herman is 4-0 in bowl games right now for Texas.
I agree to that Sam Ellinger part. I believe he's not going to go out without a loss, especially in bowl games. He somehow turns it up in bowl games, just flips that switch. He's unreal in bowl games. I didn't know Tom Herman was 4-0 in bowl games for them. That's insane.
Remember they beat Georgia and they said Texas is back?
That's right. That's right. They always say that every year, though. But I still like Texas in this one. Like you said, Colorado's had a good year, but I don't think they're up to the skill level of Texas. And if Texas loses this game, then Tom Herman, you got to go.
Couldn't agree more to that one. The next day is Tuesday, December 30th. Right? Yeah, it's Tuesday. No, that's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
My days mixed up. We have the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Wake Forest taking on Wisconsin. Both teams are 500, and neither has a strong signature win. With that being said, this Wisconsin defense remains one of the best units on the field in this one. And if you look at it as well, their offense is a key factor to winning games. They're led by both Caesars Kendrick Pryor and Danny Davis, and their running back Jalen Berger and Nakia Watson, studs. But their best one as a top quarterback is Graham Mertz. He left the game early last week. Hopefully he plays in this bowl game. We'll see. If he plays, Wisconsin wins big.
I agree to that. I was getting ready to say, I think this Wisconsin offense is going to be too much for this Wake Forest defense to handle. And then, like you said, this Wisconsin defense steps up. They're always a top team defensively. So I like Wisconsin as well.
Next, we have the Trans-Perfect Music City Bowl. Number 15, Iowa, taking on Missouri. A Missouri team who's on a rise this year and years to come, led by quarterback Connor Baszlik and running back Larry Runtree III. The Tigers' defense has not been as strong as they usually are. They've been beat up a lot. And this Iowa team, they are hitting the ball rolling, started off the season 0-2 and have won in games from there. If you look at the running game for Iowa, Tyler Goodson, 762 yards, 17 this year. He's emerged one of the top running backs of this year. Plus, one of their best defenders, Davion Nixon. He leads a defense that ranks second national yards per play, and he is a finalist for the Outland Trophy. Who you like in this one?
I like Iowa. I hate to go against Connor Baszlik, but this Iowa secondary they're the real deal. They're good. And this Iowa offense is pretty much complementary to that. I mean, they can move the ball and they can score. So I like this Iowa team a lot.
I'll make a key note here. Keep it in the back of your mind, Caleb. Listen to this one. Ready?
I'm ready.
Levi Williams from Wyoming. His first career start was last year in a bowl game. You know who Levi Williams is? He's a quarterback at interview Nationwide Sports Talk. Okay? John in the bowl game won the game. Connor Baszlik. I interviewed him. Nationwide Sports Talk people who I've interviewed have shined in bowl games. I like Missouri. Bam! Put that in the apple and turn it sideways because I like Connor Baszlik in that offense against Iowa's defense, who they have not really played anybody. They were on the weak side of the Big Ten. They don't play those top offenses. They don't. They played Northwestern, who won by 1, who has no offense at all.
They were somehow able to keep it close with the Ohio State.
The defense. Their defense. Last game we're going to talk about is the Goodyear Cotton Bowl, which is going to be a great one, I think, in my eyes. Number 6, Oklahoma taking number 7, Florida. Spencer Rattler versus Kyle Trask. Can Kyle Pitts, if he does not opt out? Oh, never mind, he did opt out. Never mind.
Well, I'm thinking –
Never mind, he did opt out.
yeah, I'm still thinking Florida in this one, though. I'm thinking that Kyle Trask is not going to allow. I mean, obviously this is his last year, so I don't think he's going to allow himself to go out without a nice bowl win, especially after that LSU loss. He's really proved himself as one of the top quarterbacks, and I don't think this Oklahoma defense, which we always talk about with Oklahoma teams, can their defense stay up to par with this offense that they're going up against? And I don't think that's the case with this Oklahoma defense against this Florida offense.
But here's the thing. I'm going the same thing, but I don't think Florida's defense can keep up with Oklahoma's offense.
No, it's definitely going to be a shootout, but I do think
Tony opts out as well too. I don't think the Florida defense can withhold the offense that Oklahoma brings.
I just think Florida's offense is a little bit more deadly. Like, I just think that with Kyle Trask back there, yeah, Spencer Rattler.
That's why I'm not going with Florida. I'm going with Oklahoma. That's the main reason.
Yeah, I do think Kyle Pitts would be a big.
Pitts didn't play that LSU game and lost.
Oh wow!
I like.
So I'm still going Florida.
Big 12, Caleb. I'm supporting the Big 12.
I'm still going Florida. I have to.
Even though Florida has won consecutive New Year's Eve games under Dan Mullen, they did push Alabama to the limit in the SEC title game. I just think Kyle Trask is going to be playing catch up. It's going to be an all offensive battle. No defense at all is going to happen in my eyes. I'm looking for a score total to be in the 80s. That's what I'm looking forward to. And it's going to be a game I'm going to like to watch because I like a high-scoring game. They're fun to watch, not like a nice shootout, nice back-and-forth kind of matchup. But I think Oklahoma's going to get the ball. And Lincoln Riley, who is a phenomenal coach, gets to win in this one.
Alrighty.
That concludes episode 99 of Nationwide Sports Talk. Come back next week for episode 100, episode 100. And we'll come back with more bowl game talk and more of the other things. So, Caleb, say your peace, love, and goodbyes.
All right, guys. Like Matthew said, that is episode 99. We will see you guys next week. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave us a comment. If you're an athlete and you want to do an interview, reach out to us. We will be reaching out to some, especially this weekend because we're both off. We both get a nice little weekend off, so we will definitely be reaching out. And we will see you guys next week. Merry Christmas and safe travels.
Going off that part, I found out I work Christmas.
Ah.
I did find out I work Christmas. I'm blown about it. But like Caleb said, have a great Christmas. Enjoy it. Stay safe. 6 feet apart, social distance, all that BS, blah, blah, blah. You hear it over and over again in your city, in your town. But watch sports. Bowl season's here, so hopefully no game gets canceled. So watch it while you can. College basketball, a couple big games happen this weekend. NFL, it's the final push for the playoffs. So those are getting more exciting as the season ends. So like Caleb said, like, subscribe, reach out to us if you're an athlete. We'll be glad to interview you and just talk about your journey to where you're at today, pretty much. That's what we like to do. And we have fun. So you have fun with us. That's no doubt about it. I make the show fun if you can't tell by now. I have gimmicks and funny, fun stuff to say. Yay, I know. But anyways, come join Nationwide Sports. Or join the movement, and you can tell I have proof in the pudding, like I've been saying for the third time today. I have guys who are stars right now in the country. It's proof right there. So you can be the next one. So reach out to us. We're glad to interview. I'm Mac. Peace out for the weekend. Have a great Christmas, y'all. Stay safe. Peace.
Vanity stains, but you just all on my thoughts, and I just can't separate. It's the life of an angel with the mind of a saint. Cause lately I ain't been the same, feel like I'm stuck in